Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is December 8th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. We got California to the right, some mid and high level clouds moving over the region, but still trapped at the surface. We have some degraded air qualities and some dense fog out there this morning. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at what is coming here with this high pressure. It's going to be setting up in and over the Great Basin for the next few days and driving some offshore winds across California, and so we got some fire danger associated with that. And then we'll take a look at the extended forecast. Models continue to be flipping and flopping back and forth on just how much of these specific ocean storms are going to impact the state of California. We'll dive into that a little bit here as well. Now, taking a look at what is going on, you can see we got Fresno at 1/8 of a mile. Bakersfield is socked in. Modesto, very foggy this morning. We do have some haze across the Bay Area. Like I mentioned, we have some degraded air quality. You can see Sacramento is about 2 miles right here. If I click in here, you can see, what are we looking at there? We're looking at Oroville, about a quarter mile right now as well. So yeah, we definitely have that stagnant air and the dense fog out there for some areas. So take it easy, take it a little bit slow here this morning. You can see that we do have the Bay Area and some of those degraded air qualities down into the valley areas. And even Southern California is not doing too hot this morning. San Diego, a little bit of degraded air there as well. And we're going to switch that up. We're going to drive some offshore winds here across the area. Should help to stir up that air mass at least a little bit. But with that comes the risk for some fire danger, some low relative humidities, and some gusty winds. No storm reports to speak of yesterday, but if we take a look at Los Angeles National Weather Service, we do have the red flag warning up now, and you can see Monday through Wednesday very dry with moderate to strong Santa Ana winds, potential gusts up to 70 miles per hour, and of course, some low relative humidities. Rapid fire spreads are possible. And this is a text version of that as well. So this goes from 10 p.m. Monday to 10 p.m. Tuesday as we go with the low relative humidities. Yeah, so we're going to be dealing with this fire danger threat here even on in towards November. It's the Santa Ana winds. That's what happens. And if we take a look at some of Southern California, you can see the critical and the elevated fire danger there across Southern California. Now, San Diego talking about it as well, and this kind of shows you the extent of the red flag warning, especially across the higher terrain of Southern California. You can see some of the gusty winds. I'll show you more on that here in a moment, and some dense fog for the San Joaquin Valley. Here's Hanford National Weather Service with the dense fog advisory out for much of the valley areas, including Bakersfield, of course, Hanford, Modesto, and Stockton. Gusty winds out there, California, Arizona border. You can see Desert Center right here. Some of these could be up over 40, 45 miles per hour, and these will be crosswinds across the 10 and the 8, for example. So heads up. This is Monday evening through Tuesday afternoon. Wind impacts across some of Nevada here. You can see there's Needles right here. There's Top Rock. Some gusts up over 50 miles per hour are possible. This is going to be out of the north. And sneaker waves, so Eureka, California. So heads up on the California coastline, especially northwest California coast. Never turn your back on the ocean. So this is relative humidity. This is North American model, high resolution. I'm going to put this into motion here, and you can see, it's relatively dry here across some of Southern California and some of the desert areas, but watch what is to come as we scroll through the next couple of days. Let's see if we can see it here. There we go. There's low relative humidity starting to emerge there across Southern California as we go through Monday, and look at this very dry air. You can see it streaming off the coastline there. So yeah, that is the Santa Ana winds blowing as we drop these relative humidities. And notice it doesn't completely, we're not drying out the valley too much here, but we will be stirring up the air enough to help with that air quality. So if I loop that through, you'll see as we go through Monday night into Tuesday, look at that dry air just flowing off the continent with the northeast winds associated with the Santa Ana winds. And you can see that stretched out across Baja Peninsula here in the Gulf of California as well, and some of the Arizona area and the desert areas and Las Vegas in and around. Now, if we take a look at why that is happening, this is mean sea level pressure. This is a North American model, high resolution. You'll see the high pressure. Look at the sagging south as we go through the day Monday, and then by Monday night and on in through Tuesday morning, you see that big dome of high pressure in place over the Great Basin. That's what's driving these offshore winds. The lower pressure is out towards the coastline, higher pressure over the inland. This wind comes down over the terrain and compresses and warms as it makes its way out. And most importantly, it dries. This is the fairly cool air mass out here, so it's not like we're looking at very warm temperatures associated with this or anything of that nature. But the big story here is the very dry air that flows out across the terrain towards Southern California. And if we take a look at the temperature at 925 millibars, this is just off the surface, but it is showing the surface for some areas. It's only 2,500 feet up, but you'll see as we go through the day Monday, look at this colder air starting to sag across some of the Great Basin, especially as you go through Monday night. And you can kind of see that flow off the continent here and all the way down towards Mexico and Baja Peninsula. And you can see some of the compressional winds there at 2,500 feet off the west portion of the terrain. That's the compressional winds coming down. So if I scroll through that again, you'll kind of see that emerge and kind of flow out over the continent there and across Southern California, with the very dense, high pressure and cold air out over the Great Basin. Now, this is at 5,000 feet. I want to show you this one here as well. So you can see that cold air really settle down here as we go through Monday evening and through Tuesday. And then you can kind of see that cold air move down across some of the Four Corners region here also. But yeah, that's what's going to be driving these offshore winds. And something of note here, watch as this cold air sags south. This is very interesting here because this isn't really going to affect many people. You can see this little bit of a low pressure system here, this upper level low at 5,000 feet. You know, this is a frontal system after all, and it's bringing that cold air down across the region. Look at that little low try to spin up. It doesn't have much impact with it, but just kind of interesting what you can see sometimes on the high resolution models when you are looking. So I'll scroll through that one more time and you can see that cold air sagging south. Now looking at the wind speeds here, so this is what we want to know about, and I'll put this into motion. And as we go on in through Monday, look at the wind starting out of the north across Nevada, pushing down across the desert areas and through the gaps and the canyons there, Southern California. Look at that spread all the way out over the open water. You can see these strong offshore winds ongoing, and you can see it. It'll be enough to stir up the air across the Bay Area, some northerly winds down the Sacramento Valley, and you get that northeast wind. It could be gusty at times across the Sierra Nevada, especially as you go through Monday afternoon and Monday evening. But you can see the winds continue on in through Tuesday morning, very strong over some of the higher terrain, and again through the canyon areas, north winds down across the California-Arizona border and a lot of the desert areas. Now let's take a look at the extended forecast. So this is last night's European artificial intelligence. There goes that system through the Pacific Northwest. This decaying system right here, as we go through about Thursday, does try to reach some of the coastline there. That could bring some light precipitation there, but a stronger storm is looming right near the California-Oregon border as we go through about, this is Friday afternoon. And you can see this has much bigger potential here for places like the Bay Area North, maybe even some of the Central Coast. We'll see how this storm trends, because this is a very powerful low pressure system right there. It could bring some very big winds here to some of Northern California coast up into Oregon right now, and we'll see if that changes its mind on some of the track locations there. If that comes in a little bit further south, of course, it's going to affect California much more. And then another fairly robust system here moving in that could be affecting the Bay Area as we go through the early portion of the following week. So we could start to get active here, and I'll show you the deterministic run here in a moment as well. But then after that, who knows what's going to happen. We're looking a little bit too far out in the future there. But now looking at yesterday afternoon's European model, let's put this into motion. There's Pacific Northwest storm. And then we go on in through the next few days. We're dealing with the offshore winds, and then we start to flip the pattern a bit. And we start to bring this decaying system towards the coastline. It shouldn't amount to much as we go through the day Thursday and Friday. But then there's that stronger storm also showing up in the deterministic run. And you can see the strong frontal system draped all the way down towards probably the Bay Area here, and some precipitation make it down towards central California coastline there as well. But yeah, that would be a pretty good punch. And again, if this storm comes in a little bit lower pressure and a little bit further south, that'll have much bigger impacts across the state of California. But even that's a pretty a nice shot of some weather here coming up as we go. This is really coming up towards this weekend, so that'd be Saturday morning here, and you can see the impact starting on Friday night for a lot of central and northern California. And then we look out to that next system here. That's not bad as well. Another shot of some rainfall here as another frontal system would be moving through the following week, and then who knows what's going to happen after that. But you can see we're pretty close here as some of these systems are scrolling through the area here as we go through the extended forecast, but still looking a little bit too far out. Now looking at the European, this is yesterday afternoon's run, a 50 percentile here on the ensemble. So this is an average of all 50 ensemble members here. Kind of gives us a good idea of what we could be expecting over the next couple of weeks or so. There's that weekend system there, and then the one that comes through the early portion of next week there. Again, not much for Southern California right now. We'll continue to watch that day by day to see if things will change, but you can see we do have that potential as we scroll through the upcoming 2-week period to bring some active weather back into central, the Bay Area, and Northern California. And you can see the experimental product from the Climate Prediction Center still has that slight risk here for, this is still over a week out, but still the storm track looks like it might be pointed at the west coast of North America. So we'll be watching this day by day, and that was heavy snow, and this is risk of winds. 6 to 10 days a little bit interesting as well. You can see they are picking up on that storm for Northern California, so above average getting all the way down towards the central coast as well. And that's December 13th through 17th coming up. Here's the 8 to 14 day, and there's 8 to 14 days, still including some of Northern California. We'll see how that trends. But yeah, watch out for that air quality, the dense fog, Santa Ana winds coming Monday night and on in through Tuesday. Fire danger will be in place across much of Southern California, and then we'll continue to watch day by day to see what that pattern change may bring us. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.